What's going on? Welcome to another edition of Retro Hoop Series. Finally started back up. Check out the playlist. Got 2 other episodes that's very, very intriguing. And yeah, you read it right. Grant Hill was doing what LeBron James was doing years ago. Grant Hill was like probably the first point forward in the National Basketball Association, that was doing what he was doing. He's probably the first glorified. When you had other guys to kind of control the point a little bit, but Grant Hill was like the first real point forward I can remember in basketball history. We back, Goodfellas Sports TV. Hit the subscribe button, bell icon button, won't miss another video. And yeah, man, Grant Hill was doing a lot of things that LeBron was doing. One thing Grant Hill didn't do is that in the first few seasons, he didn't attempt at least one 3-pointer a game. He shot piss poor from the 3-pointer, but he was getting to the rack with ease. You talking about off the dribble, one crossover move, getting to the rack, banging on dudes. You talking about a guy that was a walking triple-double. You talking about a guy coming out of Duke that was a lockdown defender. A guy that could just get to the rim. Dude that Alonzo Mourning tried to bully, and pretty much he banged on Alonzo Mourning, then threw him off his shoulder. A lot of people don't remember Grant Hill. You know what I'm saying? I lived in Detroit, and I was coming up when Grant Hill, played for the piss-poor Pistons. Post Bad Boys, in between the going to work Pistons. I was there, man, and Grant was a hell of a player, man. And some things that people don't remember about Grant Hill is that, a lot of people feel bad and say, Grant, excuse me, I'm in the car. Well, Grant didn't have, Grant didn't have this amount of help, or Grant didn't, to hit this or that. But the thing about Grant Hill is, the word around the streets is he had Allen Houston early in his career, right? And he didn't want to share the spotlight with Allen Houston. Him and Allen Houston clashed, and Allen Houston was known for being a marksman even back then. And eventually, Allen Houston got moved out of Detroit and eventually landed with the Knicks. And I don't know if he didn't like Allen Houston, or Allen Houston was getting too much of the shine and he wanted to control the rock, and Allen Houston wanted to control the rock. Well, he turned down helping Allen Houston. That's a fact. Okay, going around Detroit, that was a fact. He was jealous of Allen Houston being here, and eventually, everybody know the story that's old enough that he played on a hurt ankle in the last playoff season here with the Pistons, and after being advised not to play on the ankle, he did show some heart. He wanted to bring a playoff victory to Detroit. We were so bad in the 90s that he hurt his ankle. I think it was 99, 2000, but, looking at his stat line, man, he was averaging 19 points a game. He averaged about 20, just a 0.1 under 20 points a game his rookie season, where he split honors, rookie of the year honors with Jason Kidd, I believe it was. He averaged almost 20 points a game, almost 1 block, 1 point under 1 block, 0.1 point under 1 block, almost 2 steals a game, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. The next season he did better, 20.2 points a game, just a little bit less in the block department, still over a steal a game, 7 assists a game, 10 rebounds a game. The next year was 9 rebounds a game, 7 assists, 21 points. Next season was 21 points, almost 7 rebounds, over 7 rebounds, almost 7 assists a game, almost 2 steals a game like the year before. Every year he was down. His last year, with the Pistons before he tore his ankle up in the playoffs, 26 points a game, man. You know what I'm saying? You talking about 0.6 blocks, 1.6 steals, 6 assists, 7 rebounds. Shot every year he was with the Pistons, he shot above 70% from the free throw line. You know what I'm saying? And his three-pointer improved to 34%. He attempted 1.3. So he was evolving, into MVP type of guy before he left Detroit. Before he left Detroit, if he was able to stay healthy and let that ankle heal and rehabilitate that ankle, he'd have been straight. When you're talking about somebody that was doing what LeBron was doing, he was doing it. Everything you seen a young LeBron doing, even though he had a lot of college experience, he was that first point forward that was doing everything. And on top of that, he was a menace on the defensive end. He was getting buckets without a jump shot a large part of his career, getting to the rack, banging on cats, and defending the ball. He was the Detroit Pistons, getting assists. Grant was hella nice. Strong in the rack. You might take him, look at this, him with his wife Tamia, and you might think he was a softie. But you ask Alonzo Mourning and go look at them highlights. I wish I could have the video highlights. I don't do that because I ain't got time for the copyright BS on YouTube. But, he was banging on cats, man. Like when he banged on Alonzo, and then you know, he took Alonzo and he like one-armed Alonzo. Like Grant Hill was complete. He was a strong body, hard to the rack, finisher. They couldn't stop Grant. Out of 2 or 3 guys for a guy that didn't have a jump shot large part of his career, he was able to make guys better. You know, with the assists, he was getting into Joe D, older Joe D, hitting the 3, getting to the rack, getting to the paint, banging on guys, defending, stealing the ball, blocking. You could have said he was the real first point forward that had the real responsibilities every time bringing up the ball up the court, that he was handling the rock, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can make that case. Now, you know, some people might say this guy, that guy, but a lot of times back in the day, before that era, a lot of times the point guard had more usage than other four. Even if they had a point forward then, or another 2 guard or swingman that handled the rock, 9 times out of 10, the point guard had just as much usage or just 10% usage. Grant Hill had a large percentage of that usage as far as the ball handling responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? But go look up Grant Hill, man. A lot of dudes get lost in the sauce and forget about Grant Hill, man. Grant Hill was an animal, bro. And I knew it, man. I had the Grant Hill feelers, and that's the first dude go around when feelers was good. The Grant Hill feelers was life. You know, one of their best shoes they put out, man. But go check out Grant Hill, man. People forget about how good Grant was, and a lot of the youth forget about it. That's what my Retro Hoop series is about. It's kind of reminding these dudes about these ball players that get lost in the sauce who got injured, man. I'm going to do one on Penny, too, man. You know, him and Penny was a different breed, man. But check out the playlist, the Retro Hoop Series playlist. I immediately add this video to Retro Hoop Series, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Also got a Facebook group. You can email me for video requests, or you want a Retro Hoop Series video request. You know, share these videos. You want to make a donation to the channel, that link's there as well, too. Goodfella Sports TV, your boy CJ Goodfella, jack of all trades. Put some respect on my name and Grant Hill name. Y'all know